Welcome to the Gameoneer Awards 2022. This is your host, GDP Duncan, and me, Bloodsmith. How are you, Duncan?
Doing good, doing good. Pretty excited for today's stream. Want to see which games won Game of the Year since I'm in the dark on this as well as the viewers are.
All right, I hope everyone is excited as we are, and we are going to introduce a blast of rewards and great, awesome upcoming games. So, let's begin. And to let everyone know, we're going to start with action RPGs, and then we're going to go into survival. So, stay tuned for the big game reveals. All right, so let's see the first action RPG. It's coming up next year.
I'm a setting sun, but I'll never run. I'm a dead man walking. I'll stay and fight as long as I'm alive. I'm a dead man walking. Oh, I'm a dead man walking. Before I take every soul I feel inside the night. Kill till I die. Kill till I laying in the crowd, gonna burn it down. I'm a dead man walking. Oh, I'm a dead man walking. Hell's at my door, I'm a shadow man. I must be warned. I'm a dead man walking. Before I die, I'll take every soul I can kill till I die.
All right, so this is our first Gameoneer Awards event trailer. It's a well-known remnant from the ashes. It's the sequel to the game, and I think it's gonna be awesome. What do you think, Duncan?
I think it looks pretty cool. I like the enemy variety quite a lot. It kind of looks demonic yet alien at the same time, and it's pretty gritty and pretty gruesome death scenes.
Yeah, it looks like an improvement over the first one. And as far as you know, there will be procedurally like generated dungeons and things. We have more variety so that every walkthrough feels more different than that. And I really enjoyed Remnant from the Ashes. I completed it with my friend, and provided a lot of challenge. I think it's probably the best Souls-like shooter game, right? Souls-like action RPG, just yeah, it's a blast if you just want to shoot enemies and have fun with your friends.
Yeah, definitely. It looks it, especially.
All right, so it's time for the big moment because now we are going to nominate our first game, first action RPG for the best story. And the top nominees in this category are Dying Light 2, Stay Human, The Witcher 3, and Cyberpunk 2077. So what do you think, guys? Which of these games is going to win this nomination?
And just to let people know, this is from like all time, not from this year.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
think the only one that was released this year is Dying Light.
all All right, so it's time for the big reveal. And the nomination for the best story goes to Witcher 3. Yeah, all right. I think the game really deserves, because it's a really well-written, a great story, a great a lot of things. One of the masterpieces in the decade. So
Definitely, you hear so much about it as well. It was kind of surprising if it didn't win.
yeah, yeah. All right, so let's go and see what is another upcoming action RPG is coming next year.
Magic, both beautiful and powerful, binds together our long history. That common bond we share is the legacy of Hogwarts. Now it is time to add your own story to these hallowed halls and, quite possibly, shape the future of the wizarding world. Every corridor, every portrait, every stone in this castle tells the story of witches and wizards who came before. Here you will meet lifelong friends and grow into your own magical abilities in the classrooms of the world's most talented professors. And while your journey begins at Hogwarts, brewing potions, taming fantastic beasts, and mastering spells, there is a larger world beyond these walls. A world filled with dangers you can't yet imagine. An ancient knowledge long gone from this world. That strange and mysterious talent you possess may be the key to unlocking this dormant power. Your potential is limitless. But what form will it take? The journey ahead will reveal what you stand for. The choices you make now will define the legacy of Hogwarts.
All right, so that was Hogwarts Legacy. A big game coming up next year. Do you know, have you played any of the Harry Potter games, Duncan?
Yeah, I actually have. I played the first couple ones back when I was a kid. They were really interesting. I like collecting the little things in that as well. It was a really good game. I played them both on the GameCube. I played the what was the first one called again? The stone. In Dutch it has a completely different name, so I can never really remember the English names up to the later ones when they finally changed that. But anyway, I played the first one and then the second one, Chamber of Secrets. They were really good games on GameCube. I played the Game Boy Advance versions as well.
Oh yeah, I remember.
They're
I think
completely different.
I think my
But they were
first
fun as well.
I think my first Harry Potter game was on Game Boy Advanced, and I had the console before I got into PCs. But yeah, it's kind of was one of the first I think that was the first game I've played, and this was a little screen, but it was a really nice game. I really enjoyed it. So I have to say it was a really great first experience. But I believe this game is just gonna be
It looks like it's gonna knock it
Yeah.
out of the park. It looks really cool. It looks like a huge open world type Harry Potter game. Especially from this trailer, it looks really good and seems like a lot of fun, especially for Harry
Yeah.
Potter fans. Although what I did miss is it looks like this is set in like a different time period or something, because you don't see the like teachers or anything
Yeah.
or characters from the regular Harry Potter. I'm not sure when this is set per se,
Yeah,
but I
it's
guess we'll see.
I think it was before the main series, more like before the characters are we all know. So
Yeah,
yeah. But the game I think is gonna be awesome. Open world, a lot of exploration. The only maybe minus for me at least, maybe no co-op, but yeah. If it's a
it
good
doesn't
single
have that.
yeah, no co-op, but single player
Ah,
experience. I think they're aiming for that experience to create the great single player experience. So we can expect
yeah.
everything. All right. It's time for another nomination. And this time we are going to pick a winner for the best combat. And the top nominees for this nomination are The Witcher 3, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, and Elden Ring. So,
This is even a question, mate.
yeah. Is that even
It's
a
Dying
question?
Light, definitely.
Yeah, definitely Dying Light. Everyone agrees? No? Okay, it's time to reveal the big game. So, the nomination for the best combat goes to Elden Ring.
Ooh,
Oh, that
could have
was
known.
that was a bit unexpected, I guess. But
Definitely thought Dying Light was gonna win this one.
yeah. 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 I have to say it's Elden Ring pushes that combat up to next level. So we have what we have. All right, so let's see what upcoming games do we have. And here comes another action RPG trailer reel.
Peggy 16.
Yes, I can see it. Fate intended for us to meet here. Suffer as these warriors may, their pain could be the foundation for a new age.
And that is another awesome upcoming action RPG. So I would say this is probably the biggest competitor Dark Souls series, and it was developed. It comes from the creators of Noia, and it's one of the big series of Souls-like games, and has more. I think it's more of the Chinese vibe, to it. So it's a big game. I've played the first one, Noia 1, and really enjoyed it. How about you, Duncan?
Actually, never played them, even though I wanted to. They looked really cool. But this trailer, though, might set me off to buy this one at the very least. It kind of makes me think more of like a hack and slash type game though. So I'm not sure if Dark Souls would be the game I would describe this one with. It kind of feels more like Bayonetta, but like a little more grounded.
Yeah, it's. I would say the game is more like fast-paced Dark Souls. It's very Souls-like kind of gameplay. Also, precision is important, but it's more fast-paced. So I think it's more like Sekiro, you know, the other game from the Dark Souls creators.
That is the vibe I got it. At least the like art style and setting.
Yeah.
The bosses look cool though.
Yeah. And we have another nomination. And this time we're gonna nominate one action RPG for the best world. And the top nominees in this category are Elden Ring, Cyberpunk 2077, and The Witcher 3.
Still, those games are really, or this is all rigged, mate.
Yeah, so this might be a bit more difficult to guess, because all of these games have a good world, but only one of them was decided by our community is the best in terms of the world. So, the nomination for the best world goes to Elden Ring. Awesome. So, I think Elden Ring actually pushed these boundaries when it comes to open world, because it was a always more like semi-open, more linear type of game, but when it launched Elden Ring, it provided a lot of depth and awesomeness to the open world experience. Even though Witcher and Cyberpunk has both great worlds in terms of RPG, dialogues, you know, exploration and things like that, but Elden Ring took that to a bit new and higher level in terms of combat-focused open world games.
And this is where I would say, yeah, definitely. But I actually haven't played Elden Ring yet, surprisingly.
Yeah, surprising. Have you played the other ones?
I played a little bit of Dark Souls, but that's honestly about it. I never really got into the Souls-like games much, even though I do like the genre, and I played a couple of the other ones. Like, what was that one called that came out earlier this year? We played it on, or you played it on the Twitch channel as well.
Asterigos?
It had a pretty, yeah, that one. That one was really fun. But again, even though I played that and I have it and I played a little bit of it, I never got into it as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
Because I think the combat's really interesting and the perseverance you get from beating the bosses is really good.
Yeah.
But they're just too much of a time sink for me currently, I think, to enjoy properly.
Yeah, I think the biggest time sink when it comes to Souls-like games is have to repeat the boss fights mainly just to beat them. Maybe takes an hour or two sometimes, but yeah, I think it for co-op, for example, Elden Ring has co-op, so it makes the game way easier for 2 players. Yeah. All right.
It's easy mode.
Yeah, it kind of makes the things easier a little bit, because, you know, one boss cannot handle 2 players as good as one, so it kind of makes
and then
things
you also
easier.
put summons, make it 4 people.
Yeah. All right, so we have another upcoming action RPG. Let's take a look.
Diablo 4 is the next generation of action RPG, melding monster slaying and loot collecting with a fully realized open world.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's gory and unnerving. It's creepy.
Diablo 4 is all about player choice.
It takes all of the pillars of a Diablo game and just expands them with all the new features that people really love and appreciate in modern games. whoever you see yourself being, you can create in Diablo 4.
It's important to include robust character customization because then I can play the fantasy that I want to play. It allows you to switch around your playstyle as well.
Everything feels very powerful and fun.
One of the really cool things about having an open world is your journey that you take throughout Diablo 4 is your own. There's no linear path that you have to follow.
We've got almost 150 dungeons in the game.
There's all kinds of surprises as you're exploring.
Strongholds are an enemy territory that you need to reclaim.
You might have a space that begins as a hostile area, but after you've cleared it out,
the evil in this place has been cleansed.
It now becomes a friendly town.
Sometimes it's a new town, sometimes it's a new dungeon. There's a whole bunch of rewards that you get, and you have a real impact on the world as a result.
No, you can't leave us here. They might come back any moment.
Local events are really cool little story segments that happen within the open world.
You'll just be running through the world, and then a local event will pop up, and you can choose to participate in it, or get a group together and just wail on these like giant world bosses.
These are events that take a lot of people, and you really have to work together.
Being able to see all the players on your screen, collaborating, trying to take this big monster down, it's epic.
It's so easy to create a community. It makes Diablo more of a social experience.
We've got fully enabled crossplay.
If you have an Xbox and your buddy has a PC, you're going to be able to group up.
Or you could play couch co-op. Two people on a couch can sit there and have a great experience.
We've created specific zones where players can engage in PvP.
If you go there, you can start swinging away at people. But you're also opening yourself up to being swung at.
If you're like really, really good, the game actually marks you as like a champion on the map. You basically become a loot pinata, and everyone wants to chase you down.
The last story mission is really the beginning of a whole different part of the journey.
Now you're set up for the end game, and that end game is rich with things to do that allow you to get more and more powerful.
Whether it's new items or new dungeons or new Paragon boards, every single time you come back to play Diablo 4, there's going to be new stuff for you to experience.
And it's something that we're going to support for years to come.
I'm really excited for folks to get their hands on Diablo 4.
Just to see millions of people really enjoying the different options.
Through the campaign,
local events,
couch co-op,
endgame,
PvP, it almost doesn't end.
And we are so close.
And that was Diablo 4. Probably one of the more anticipated upcoming hack and slash action RPGs. How about Diablo series, Duncan? Have you played them all?
No, I've not played all Diablos. I only played the third one a bit. From what I've seen in this one, it looks like it's a very multiplayer-focused Diablo. And from what I remember, Diablo was always more single-player, wasn't it?
Yeah, Diablo was more single-player focused game. And it was always kind of like that. But it also had some multiplayer options, some PvP basic things. But this one is going to be more like MMO type of game where you just have a big world to explore and find other players. Yeah, I think it's going to be a big experience. A big experience.
It's really interesting.
Yeah. And I think...
I was just going to say, I hope it doesn't get like Immortals then.
Yeah, I think Diablo was one of my first hack and slash games I've played a long time ago, and it was a really enjoyable experience. But
yeah, I enjoyed the third one quite a bit as well.
Yeah,
and a couple of the other hack and slash, but this was the main first hack and slash I did play. Yeah, same.
Yeah, it was kind of a little bit disappointing with the third one, but I think Diablo 2 was my favorite one, especially once they released that remastered version. So yeah, it was awesome. And now we have another nomination for the best action. And the top nominees in this category are Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Dying Light 2, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So guys, what do you think? Which of these great action RPGs is gonna become the best Gameoneer communities?
This one could be quite interesting though, because there is, in my opinion, not a definite winner here.
Yeah, all of these have something to offer.
Yeah, they all play different as well. My personal opinion would be Dying Light 2. I love that game. It was really overshadowed really quick by Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But it also came with a bunch of glitches at launch that probably didn't help either.
Yeah. And since we don't have Elden Ring in this category...
Finally, something has a chance!
Yeah, something has a chance to win this awesome nomination. All right, so here comes the big moment. Nomination for the best action goes to Dying Light 2.
And I'm finally right.
yes, you're finally right. And the game is really worthy of the action. It's really great action. Story is kind of, but it was never about. It was never really about the story. It was more about action, zombie splashing, and just
parkour, craft weapons, slash heads. This one was really fun. I played this one quite a lot at launch.
Yeah.
But again, there were a lot of glitches, and some of them even completely locked you out of the rest of the game. Because I remember encountering one glitch, and that got me stuck in a room, and no matter what I did, I could not escape it anymore.
Yeah.
So I had to completely restart, which kind of sucked. But I think they fixed most of those now.
Yeah, I think it takes some time, but they're gonna just go through that and fix the issues. Like Dying Light the first one game is awesome, but of course it took some time to improve it, add more content, and I think a similar situation is gonna happen to this one. It's a bit different game than the first one, maybe.
It is,
but yeah,
it's a lot more free flowing as well, with the addition of certain items like the wing glider, for example, and the hook shot. You could really go anywhere in this game you wanted, and if you mastered even a part of the parkour system it had, you could really get places where you're not even supposed to be yet.
Yeah. It added more freedom, more parkour. Was taken to the next level. Yeah. All right. So that is Dying Light 2 for the best action. And now we have another upcoming action RPG. So let's take a look. All right, so yeah, it's dark and gritty and action filled. Some nice hysterical moments. What are your thoughts on the game, Duncan?
It was quite confusing at first, and so honestly, I have no idea what's going on in this game. It didn't really show much, in my opinion. It showed a bit of the world. The world looks really cool, though. But other than that, I'd like to see some more gameplay, which is what traders really like these days, I feel.
Yeah, it was more an introductory trailer, more of the lore and the world, but we gotta see more of the gameplay, I think, in the near future. It was just recently announced, so looking forward to more footage, gameplay, and awesome things that we can expect from the game.
Yeah.
And now we have another nomination. Surprise, surprise. Do you like guys to relax when you play games, or do you like to play games to get challenged? Or how about you, Duncan? Do you like to just relax when playing a game, or do you come for games for more action?
I think it really depends on the mood. If I do want to relax, action RPG isn't the first category I think of, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
more like these
like
novelas, you know, this story kind of booky where you just read text kind of games, you know, with these anime characters, maybe like that.
No, I'll just read the manga instead.
Yeah, I think
it's more relaxing than looking at the screen, to be fair.
It really depends, I guess, on the player. I guess for me, when I just want to relax, I don't know if I just play games, but maybe more like watch a movie or something that would not have to be in control, like, you know, have to control, like, because you still have to think when you just want to relax. Yeah. So you want, I guess, game that would make you think basically not a thing when you're playing, right? So it's kind of just, you don't have to make certain difficult decisions and react a lot to the game, but just have to make yourself feel comfortable and sleep kind of drowsily.
Yeah, I think survival games are actually a good fit for this relaxation, because you can just turn your brain off, collect a bunch of resources, and you have something for next time you actively want to play again.
Yep. All right, so let's see what action RPGs can make us relaxed.
And it will be Elden Ring.
All right, so we have 3 nominees: Stardew Valley, Coral Island, and Genshin Impact. So guys, which of these action RPGs do you think is the most relaxing?
Which one do you think is going to be quite relaxing? Have you played any of these?
I actually played Genshin Impact. I played a bit of Stardew Valley. Haven't played Coral Island, but it looks pretty relaxing.
Yeah, I haven't played Coral Island either. I've played a lot of Stardew Valley. I think I have like 200 hours in it. And I played a ton, absolutely ton of Genshin Impact. That will be my go-to game for relaxation, especially with some of the newer updates where they basically added Hearthstone to the game for completely free, which is crazy.
Yeah. All right. So let's see which of these games is the most relaxing to Gameoneer community. And nomination for the best to relax goes to Stardew Valley. Awesome.
That was quite surprising.
Yeah, Duncan's loving it.
It is a really good relaxation game. You don't really have to think a lot at the time, except for towards the end maybe of a season.
Yeah.
The rest is really relaxed.
Feeding chickens.
Yeah.
Milking cows.
Watering your crops.
What can go wrong? Yeah, I think there's nothing more relaxing than keeping your own farm in game. But when in actual life, you just, well, that's very challenging.
It will not be relaxing.
Yeah.
At all. having to make sure the crops don't die at all given times, especially with all the parasites and whatnot that has to go on.
Yeah, I guess
And it's
all
crazy.
the people who are into farming in real life would just want to play a game would not be as challenging as farming actually is.
There were actually people that bought an entire farm because they liked Stardew Valley so much. I do wonder if they're like, did I make the right decision doing this? This isn't as relaxing as I hoped.
Yeah.
It's god dang.
Let's see what's coming up next. And guess what?
Oh boy.
Oh, that's an exciting moment because now we are gonna pick one of players who voted, who helped us to nominate the best of the best. And thanks again for all the votes. And thanks for joining us and watching this event. Without you, we would not have these awesome nomination.
So how many giveaways do we have?
So we're gonna give away 5 games.
And are they random or are they set games that you have?
There are a selection of games that us, is going to be drawing for you guys. So this is the big draw winners button, and it's gonna decide who is our first winner in this awesome giveaway. So I guess it's time to draw. And a winner is Desert MW. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. You are the first winner of our giveaway. If you're here, just type in the chat, say, I'm here and I want to claim an awesome game. If you're not, well, I guess we have to draw a game for you and send you the email.
And something tells me he's not in the chat.
No worries.
You have a way of picking games as well?
No
Another
worries.
green button.
All right. And here is our giveaway wheel. And it will decide which of the awesome games Desert MW is going to win.
You might have a hard time reading this, but
yeah, but
can you win dots?
Yeah, you're gonna win a lot of dots. All right, time to spin the wheel.
And the game is?
And the awesome game is
Blastronaut.
Blastronaut. Congratulations.
A 2D mining game, if I remember correctly.
Yes, blasting and mining and blasting more stuff in space. It's an awesome action survival game. So, I guess we don't hear from the winner right now. I'm gonna count up to 5. And if the winner wants to say, I want to draw again, the Blastronaut will be sent to the winner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I guess the winner is not here with us today, so we are just gonna reward him with Blastronaut. And for other players who are watching this, potential winners, make sure you stay tuned with us so you could request your draw. All right, just gonna make things good now.
Right, so what other games can people expect to win in this one?
Well, these are kind of surprise games. I don't want to reveal right now. I just want people to see what they can win. So, all right. So let's see. So what we have now is we have nomination for the best challenge. And in this category, we have 3 top nominees. Star Wars Jedi, Fallen Order, Salt and Sacrifice, and Elden Ring. All right, guys. So which of these do you think is going to win?
I'm biased towards the Star Wars one. It's made by Respawn, one of my favorite companies. Until they got bought out by EA, sadly. They stopped making Titanfall.
Yeah. Soul and Sacrifice is probably one of the best Dark Souls platformer games. Like, it's a platformer game, 2D, but it has this kind of depth and combat which matches Dark Souls.
Oh.
Of course, it's a platformer, so you don't expect like 3D combat, but for a platformer, it's great.
From the cover, I did kind of expect it to be like a Dark Souls type game. I didn't expect it to be 2D, however.
Yeah. So let's see. And the nomination for the best challenge goes to Elden Ring.
Yeah, like we kind of expected anything else. Surprising that the Dark Souls lines weren't up here either.
Yeah. And then what's surprising about Elden Ring is that normally that people best challenge, best and many other nominations. Is just kind of surprising that the game is not just about combat or the challenge, but also about many other things done well.
Yeah, it's a really solid game from what I've heard, because I haven't played it, of course.
Yeah.
You're kind of cutting out a lot. I'm not sure if it's on stream as well.
You mean my
If
voice?
anyone wants to... Yeah. I'm not sure if that's just Discord related or stream related as well. If anyone wants to verify if Bloodsmith here is cutting out a lot.
Time.
It seems like Bjorn has the same issue.
Because I can hear you well. So I'm wondering what could be the issue. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's fine again. It's
okay. So maybe these.
It's just when you were explaining things about Elden Ring.
Okay, so maybe some temporary issues. All right, so let's move on.
Let's hope.
And now we have another action RPG. Let's see what's upcoming next.
Holy Aureus, giver of life and light. In your divine radiance, we trust. Shield our souls with grace, our hearts with hope, and guide our path eternal. Turn our gaze from what lies beyond your luster, where wickedness dwells and the shadows reign. Arm us with your golden splendor, so that together may we vanquish the darkness. In light, we walk. The Lords of the Fallen. Wishlist now.
And that was, guys, Lords of the Fallen. It is a sequel to a Souls-like action RPG, which had some fair amount of issues, but it improved somehow. And I think they kind of want to make this really great experience because they are reworking the game and just releasing a great, awesome new experience. So, do you know this game, Duncan?
I did see it pass by. My only thoughts at the moment are, oh cool, another Souls-like game that looks kind of gritty and has demonic enemies.
Yeah.
There are quite a lot tonight, I'll admit that.
Yeah, a lot of Souls-like games have this gritty vibe, this darkness, and I guess it's more like a common theme between the Souls games, like this medieval, especially kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's pretty popular, right? So a lot of companies try to take the same formula and make it really look like the Souls-like series as well. It's the same thing in like every other genre, basically.
Yeah. So
imagine how many like DayZ or PUBG-like games you saw with the same sort of art style.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, developers are taking what kind of gets more attention, what works, and just brings them. It's time to nominate the next action RPG.
Best co-op.
Best co-op is gonna be interesting, I guess. So let's see the nominees.
Elden Ring had co-op, didn't it? Oh!
We have 3 nominees for the best co-op. And Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. So guys, which of these do you think is gonna be nominated for the best co-op?
In my personal opinion, I think Tiny Tina's Wonderlands will probably get this one. Just because it's more of a co-op focused game. More so than Dying Light. And I'm not 100% sure about Outward.
Yep, have you played that one?
Because I have not played Outward yet. I haven't played Tiny Tina's Wonderland either, even though I want to.
Yeah.
I think it is a really good game, and I played the DLC for Borderlands 2, which is what this game was inspired by. Or more of a sequel type deal, or standalone. I don't... something like that, at least. But it really seems like that would be the best co-op game. It's really made for co-op, at least. Because it's kind of like that old Dungeons and Dragons pen and paper style game, but in video game form. And Borderlands sprinkled in.
All right. So you guys ready for the big best for co-op goes
Outward, huh?
Surprise to many players because the game is an indie game. It's not very well known game, but it has good reviews. I guess I've played this game. I pretty much completed it with a friend, and it is a great experience. And what I really like about the co-op and the game in general is that it brings the magic of action RPGs. Because, you see, a lot of AAA games or even big budget indie games they kind of aim for the mainstreamish kind of type of gameplay and looks and things like that. What Oddworld does right is that it brings this kind of nostalgia for these maybe 20-year-old games that you used to play back in the days, and we used to enjoy them. Because a lot of popular games nowadays are more about like making money and just doing things at work and just trying to please everyone. But what Oddworld does is that it brings that kind of feeling of you when you used to play games like 20 years ago, like these action RPGs, maybe with friends, and just having this magical journey together. So I think this is the reason why most Gameoneer community players voted for the game, because it has something magical, and co-op makes it remember these old times when games were just magical experience and we're not just about, you know, microtransactions, DLCs, and all the shiny stuff that we have nowadays. But yeah, it's definitely recommended and worth checking out. It's not the best looking, I guess, but it's nice looking game. So
I'll definitely have to check it out
Oh.
after the stream, because I heard of the name, but there's no image popping up, so I probably never looked at it.
yeah, it's definitely, and to all the survival gamers, I would like to know that the game has survival elements too. So like you can, you know, cook food, make certain, you can get weather effects, you can get, you know, cold, and you have to drink these little teas to get yourself to restore your flu, and you know, if you got cold, you know, you just drink a tea and it improves your temperature, raises your temperature, or there you might get certain poison effects. I really like, you know, I guess this is one of the other reasons why a lot of players in our community voted, because a lot of people enjoy survival games, because this game is a mix of survival and action RPG. So you have this kind of challenging combat, but also you have survival elements that make it even more difficult than just, you know, traveling around and killing everyone. But you also have to survive here, deal with all kinds of survival obstacles in the game.
Sounds really interesting.
I think also the game has split screen. Yep, it has split screen. You can play, buy one copy and play with your friend, the split screen. But of course, yes, maybe for some players it's not the best option, then they just want to have the big screen for themselves. Yeah. But you can play online co-op too, so that's a great addition. Cool. So, let's see what other action RPGs we have in store for you guys. Here comes the next trailer.
Good. Not good enough.
We can but learn. And the greatest teacher is out there. Now go. Death to Kronos.
Death to Kronos.
This is an opportunity for you to make a better future for us all. Least I can do is light your way down.
About ready to give in?
No, I was born for this.
You trifle with powers far beyond your comprehension, witch.
Okay, if I call you witch like that.
Vengeance for your family awaits you.
He is no mere titan. He is time itself, and time cannot be stopped.
Wait for me, Father. I'll be this.
All right, so Hades 2 is coming next year. I think so, next year. Prove.
Uh,
Correct me if I'm
Probably.
wrong.
I mean, the last one came out last year, though. I'm pretty sure. So that they already have a second one, and it looks like it's pretty far along in development. It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah. I have to admit, I haven't played the game yet. How about you, Duncan? Tell me you did.
I watched the video.
All right.
That's about my experience.
I did too.
No, I've not played Hades. It looks kind of like it looks like a lot of fun. It's not really the type of game I play often. Every once in a while, I'd like to pick up a game like that for maybe a couple rounds. But the roguelike genre isn't really for me per se.
Yeah, I think roguelike genre is a lot. Players who enjoy like Dark Souls, these kind of punishing games, they also gonna enjoy roguelike games. I do enjoy like, Con and Chop Chop. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I think like, the games there you need to constantly repeat might not be for everyone, but it also comes with a great reward, like like Dark Souls games where you just constantly learn and improve to kill the big challenges. That's the same thing for roguelike games. You just keep on moving, keep on repeating. And I would say Don't Starve together, Don't Starve series have this kind of roguelike element where you just keep on repeating, the engaging loop, which makes you play the game over and over again before you get better and complete certain bosses or areas and just move forward. Yeah, so...
Yeah, definitely. And I certainly do like them, the roguelike genre, but it's a really pick up and play for me. I'm not really there to grind it out a lot of the time, so I don't get far in them often because I don't get good at them.
All right, so we have another nomination. Hey, Jeffrey, welcome. You came for the right time because now we're going to know which of the games is the best for beating each other's asses.
That's a good one. I'm coming for you later, Jeff.
Yep, you guys just talk through this. All right, so let's see. We have 3 top nominees, best for PvP. And the first one is Noia 2, followed by Elden Ring and Tower of Fantasy. So, guys, which of these do you think is the best for beating each other up?
All of them don't really make me think PvP, to be honest. Like, I've never played the Noah game nor Elden Ring. I don't know they have co-op, so I'm gonna assume that is where the PvP lies as well. Tower of Fantasy I played a little bit of. I didn't even know there was PvP until I looked at the nominees for this event. And I was like, what? Because it primarily is just an RPG, right? It's an action RPG. I never expected it to have PvP in it.
Yeah.
Even though it would make sense because it is an online game. But
yeah, it has some like tournaments and arena fights and things like that. And some issues with the game players had that it has some, bit pay to win elements, but I think maybe we fixed that throughout the time.
my main issue was voice acting. It was so bad. Even with actual known voice actors, it's like they did a take and that's it. So it was following the story. It was honestly pretty... It had both worlds. Like, it had potential, the story, but it felt really boring as well. And then it didn't help that the voice acting was really boring. Like, they were just reading out the manuscript and that's it.
Yeah, so I think the game is probably one of the Genshin Impact competitors, but it's not that great in my opinion.
It was very quickly overshadowed by a large Genshin Impact update. So they released it on a terrible time as well.
All right, so let's reveal the best for PvP. And the award goes to Elden Ring. All right, so Elden Ring is a great... You know, the funny thing, about Elden Ring is that it's not only has a great combat in terms of PvE, but also in PvP. So this is one of the games that I think has precision-based combat, which is really great for PvP action, where you need to actually get yourself skilled, become better at it, and just, yeah, this is the game which is great for both PvE and PvP, and probably one of the best PvP system in action RPGs. Not talking about MMORPGs, but just in terms of action RPGs, it has a really great PvP system. Not on a large scale, not on a huge scale, but on a good scale. In terms of how many players can engage in battles.
I guess it would make sense, right? Because the Souls-like series, or at least the games developed by From Software, their combat on their own is already really good and really refined. So adding a PvP mode, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And it's kind of actually rare to see PvP in action RPGs, because normally they're like co-op or single player games, like for example Witcher, Cyberpunk. You know, a lot of action RPGs don't have PvP. They're mainly campaign-based experience, but Elden Ring is one of these rare games that has it. And I think maybe this is one of the things that makes Souls-like games stand out from the rest of action RPGs, is that they have this PvP experience that is both for players who just want to play alone or with friends as a PvE and stay in PvE, or just go for PvP and do that. So I think options are always good. Options are good. All right.
Definitely.
Let's move on to our next upcoming action RPG. Let's check the trailer.
"要做到这件事很难。
不过其实来之前就听要讲过无数遍了。
只有奇迹才有这样的力量。
这就是我来稷下的理由。我一直在做这个梦。以绝望挥剑。一直不停的战斗。
直上青天，揽星辰。大道理，把我的魂剑讲出来。
直到他对我说：“
喂，药学长，你在说什么呀？我怎么听不清？”
All right, so that is another action RPG, Honor of Kings World. How do you like it, Duncan?
From what it looked like in the trailer, the combat's going to be really interesting, as you can switch weapon during the fight, it looked like. And there were just some really cool weapons, like that minigun that also had rockets raining down from above. If I get this game, that will definitely be the playstyle I'll be choosing.
Yeah. It's really kind of has a beautiful world. It kind of reminds a bit of like Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's very stylized like that.
Yeah. I really like for example, the swimming underwater. It just kind of has nice animations. Like, looks polished. Yeah, so I guess this is one of the games worth looking forward to as it releases, and probably it might not release this next year, but yeah, I guess we'll see. So it's worth following and worth has to bring to the table.
Does it have an actual English name yet? Because I saw were presumably Japanese.
Yeah,
on screen.
it's kind of more like for Japanese audience at this point, but it's gonna be like for global audience. I think they're gonna make some changes, and it's kind of very early reveal. So yeah, we normally have these games announced in their original languages and countries, but later on they just get more visibility from all around the world, and yeah. Cool. So this is another game worth looking forward to. So let's see what's next. And now we have another category, the best updates. Oh, thanks for fixing, Bjorn. It might be Chinese.
Yeah, I got a confirmation it was Chinese as well. Getting spammed over here. What the hell? Someone I know who knows Japanese messaged me like, it's not Japanese, what are you talking about?
Yeah, hopefully
it's Chinese, man.
I did not offend anyone. I'm sorry if I did.
I mean, Japanese kind of comes from Chinese kanjis anyway, or symbols, so I mean, technically, maybe we were right.
Yeah, so don't read Japanese. They have a hard time to just make a distinction between Chinese and Japanese.
Yeah.
But
if you don't know the characteristics, it's
yeah,
quite difficult, I guess. You know me, mate. I'm not careful at all.
Cool.
I say the truths.
So, the best updates. Top nominees are Path of Exile, Genshin Impact, and Last Epoch. So guys, which of these action RPG updates for ongoing stuff coming out to the game?
I swear if Genshin doesn't win this one, it has so many crazy updates this year. It basically doubled the size of its map, for example. That Hearthstone minigame, like I talked about before as well. Genshin really had a crazy amount, as well as events, which came with fully voiced cutscenes for hours on end.
So it looks like you...
But I could see people...
You choose
I definitely
Genshin?
have a clear winner in mind. Yeah.
You betting like...
I haven't really played the other ones either, but...
So you're betting like $50 for Genshin Impact?
I'm not gonna bet anything with the man that knows who's gonna know what's gonna win. I could see a lot of people not voting for it though, just because it is Genshin Impact.
Come on.
It kind of is a double-edged sword as well.
Let's don't be discouraged. And let's see what the winner is for this nomination, the best updates. And the award goes to Path of Exile. Oh. So I think a lot of players, like, they know Path of Exile for a long time. And the game just provides a lot of updates for years. Way before Genshin Impact was released. I think Genshin Impact is probably one of the most abundant with updates. Yet it might be not the very old game. So I feel like the decision was made with players who want the game to be updated, let's say, for 5, 7, maybe even more years. And I think it's kind of rare, you know, to see action RPGs getting a lot of updates. It's more like for survival games. They get a lot of updates before the early access. But
I mean, Project Zomboid has been in early access for 10 years now.
Yeah. Yes, but for action RPGs, it's not that very common.
Yeah, I thought Path of Exiles was already completed, to be fair.
Yeah, that's the thing, because it's completed and it's already launching new updates and it's awesome. It's great. And it's time for another giveaway. And we are going to draw another participant who help us decide and pick the best of the best games. All right, so let's draw. Oh, congratulations.
Totem Pole Man.
Totem Pole Man. Yes, he's one of our community members, and he's with us for about, I don't know, maybe almost 2 years or less. But he's one of the members who comes in and out and says hi, sometimes nags on some games, but yeah. So
the OGs.
He's great, and we are going to reward him with an awesome game.
I haven't seen him in the chat, though. So let us know if you're in the chat.
Totem Pole Man, are you here? We are still waiting for you because we have a prize that you're going to win. So, let's draw and let's see if Total Pole Man comes up, or we have to give him the game that we draw on the first try. All right. You guys ready?
Totally ready. Ready to see the dots go around.
And the prize is Lord Dwencher. Congratulations, Poleman.
And I remember this name.
Yeah.
I know I've seen it. I don't... Let me check it out real quick.
It's a new action RPG. And if you want a request for another draw, we're going to send it straight to your inbox.
It's a top-down survival game.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Seems pretty interesting, though.
Top-down survival game.
Well, GG to Poleman, or Totem Pole Man.
Yep. Congrats.
It's quite the prize. How big's the chance that I'll be the winner?
You will be the winner?
In one of these giveaways.
Like 0 to none?
Dang. I'm basically your viewer here, man.
Yeah, but thanks for voting, everyone, you know, because we gave an option to everyone to choose whether they want to participate in the giveaways. And we had quite a chunk of people who said, I don't want a giveaway, I just want to vote. So...
Yeah, I was the one that pressed no.
Yep.
Yikes.
You missed your chance.
Should have pressed yes. I could have won this cool looking survival game.
Yeah, you could have. But I guess better luck next time. What's next is that we are going to decide our best game. The best of all time action RPG.
This isn't the game of the year yet.
Nope.
The best one of all time.
Yes. So
this was a very open-ended one. I'm pretty, from what I remember, right? This question.
Yeah. So basically, we picked the best game and the best game of the year and the most anticipated based on all the reviews and the game scores on Gameoneer website. So that's going to be based on that. So let's see what are the nominees for the best action RPG. And we have 3 nominees: Monster Hunter Rise, Oddworld, and Elden Ring. So which of these do you think, guys, was chosen by our community with all the awesome reviews is the best action RPG?
This could be quite difficult. I think Elden Ring got really high review scores. From what I know, Monster Hunter Rise was also a pretty well-received game. So that could get really high as well. Because this was based on score, right? Not on amount of reviews.
Yep.
However, Outward surprised me in the other rounds. So I'm wondering if the few people that did play it, or the people that did play it, loved it so much that they would give it high scores.
Yep. So guess it's
compared to the other 2.
It is time to find out. And the best game award goes to Elden Ring. Oh, that's
wow.
That is really Elden Ring day, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think it lost a single award yet so far, like a single nomination.
Yeah, it kind of, when the game shows up, it gotta be winning.
A good setup for next year. Maybe we should get more surprise picks in there that could maybe rival this game.
Yeah, I think like the game is just the game of the decade. It's gonna be for a while, I guess, on the top.
Yeah.
On the top of the mountain, because it's a great game, and normally you don't see games of that quality released often. Once in a while, once every 5 years or things like that. But yeah. So let's see. All right. It's time to pick the best game of the year. And
the action RPG or the action RPG category.
Yep, an action RPG category. And the 3 nominees for the best game of the year are Elden Ring, Dying Light 2, and Monster Hunter Rise.
I'm guessing Outward didn't come out this year.
Yeah, it wasn't. It came maybe 3 years ago. All right. So, what do you think is the best game of the year? Is it
I mean,
all right.
Is it really a question at this point?
Let's not keep people waiting, and let's click that button to nominate the best game of the year. And the award goes to Elden Ring. Congrats. All the awards that you've been nominated to. So,
just quite a surprise again.
Quite a surprise again. Let's see what we have for the next category, the most anticipated games. So, nominees for this category are Dead Island 2, Hogwarts Legacy, and The First Descendant. All right, so what do you think, guys, about this one? What do you think of these is the most anticipated Gameoneer community games so far?
Seeing as most people enjoy both the action RPG as well as survival, Dead Island, it was already a really hyped up game for about 10 years now. I think Hogwarts Legacy kind of came out of nowhere. It got a lot of people's attention, but I feel like it's one of those games that you kind of forget about after a while that it is supposed to come out. I'm not saying much about the first Descendants, but like, I don't think it has much of a chance.
But we played it, and it was okay.
Yeah, it was pretty all right.
Yeah. So let's see, what is the most anticipated Gameoneer Communities Action RPG? And the award goes to Hogwarts Legacy. All right, so
wow,
Harry Potter fans are gonna enjoy this one because it's coming very like in a month or two. So we're gonna see a lot of people playing it.
Quite excited for this one. It looks really fun.
Yeah, a lot of excitement for Harry Potter game leads to our next action RPG reveal. Let's check it out. Alright, so that's another action RPG, hack and slash game, Superfuse. You know, this game looks interesting, kind of Borderlandish. Yeah?
Yeah, it looks Borderlands combined with some of the
Diablo?
like like Diablo type games. I did play the beta of this because that is live right now.
Yeah, and everyone should check it out who enjoy these type of games because it's currently live and you can apply on Steam for Superfuse. So I think it also reminds of Torchlight, kind of, because Torchlight kind of one of these.
Yeah, similar vibe to this. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you like Torchlight, if I'm gonna check it out because it is upcoming hack and slash action RPG that is coming next year, and now you can enjoy beta. Cool.
It has some really interesting skill component. Like you can upgrade your skills in very specific ways. Remember that other game that we played a little while back on December?
Yes.
And it had a really unique skills tree, right? Like you could upgrade with different kind of runes. This game, Superfuse, is kind of similar in a way to that.
Oh, that's pretty nice to hear.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time to announce top 10 Gameoneer community games. What are the top action RPGs that you can find in our games library? Let's check it out. So, the first one is Elden Ring, followed by Monster Hunter Rise, Dying Light 2, The Witcher 3, Outward, Warframe, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Tunic, Elder Souls, and Alex 2. So this is the Gameoneer community's top 10 action RPGs at this point, and you can help us decide the best games by voting, by just checking the games on our website and just clicking that like button or dislike button if you don't enjoy the game much. But don't forget to rate games. As we said, rate games to win games, right, Duncan?
Exactly.
If you're not rating, you ain't winning. Like
every month a new game.
Yeah.
It's a win.
It's a win. All right. Let's see what our top 5 most anticipated games in our games library. Hogwarts Legacy, Dead Island 2, The First Descendant, Atlas Fallen, and Strayblade. So these are top 5 most anticipated action RPGs that you can find on Gameoneer.com.
I'm surprised the First Descendant is ranking this high.
Yeah, I think the beta got it through the roof.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like these big beta wins and reveals are kind of make people hyped up and just like the game and just create anticipation for the game. And it had pretty decent one. I mean, anticipation. So let's see what is our final action RPG reveal.
Can you hear me? I hope this reaches you. This city is falling apart. Chaos, madness, death. And there might be no going back. But you can change that. It depends on the choice you make. Truth or lie.
I might be asking too much of you. But I don't have a choice. Only you can do this. Please, help me. Finally, we meet, son.
The stage is set.
The light shines brightest in the darkest of times.
All right, buddy, I'm here for you. Don't worry.
Don't give up.
Keep
You can lean on me if you want.
protect.
Fulfill. Your destiny.
All right, so that was the final action RPG reveal today. What do you think, Duncan?
It started out really looking a lot like a Dishonored game. Like the setting, a Victorian steampunky type setting, you know. And then it suddenly switched to Dark Souls, which was quite a surprise, I will admit. It seemed really fun. This is a very anticipated game as well, I'm pretty sure. Like I heard a lot about a lot of hype about it when the trailer was first released. I haven't heard much since, however, so I think that's just temporary hype. But it looks really good.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun to play.
It looks one of the quality action RPGs, and a lot of people are waiting for this one. It looks polished, and I think the Steel Rising, which released not recently, is pretty similar game, but this one looks more like a polished, more higher quality product that you're gonna see next year. So if you played Steel Rising, or if you like steampunk games, I think this game is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it seems like a good quality game.
Yep. And let's see.
No, maybe it will. So maybe it was gonna be the next game of the year for next year.
Yeah, definitely. All right, guys. So, thanks for joining us for Action RPG Game Reveals and Nominations. Because now we have a bunch of survival game news and nominations, so stay tuned. And don't forget that we still have free games to give away to all the players who voted in this Gameoneer Awards nomination show. Cool. So let's start with a first game reveal, survival game reveal. And that is our first survival game trailer reveal. What are your thoughts on the game, Duncan?
This one looks really interesting. I like the little floppy animation it had after you kill an animal in this one. I think that's gonna lead to a lot of funny, interesting moments, especially where they'll probably fly away. Some of the mechanics seem to be pretty in-depth, like the climbing, for example. And it also seemed like it's gonna be a rather large world, as you can see different ice biomes. You can see ice caves, but then you also saw what looked like a volcano area and just a regular, normal-ish looking mountainy grassland.
Yeah, at some point when I looking at the trailer, I see like there's some kind of people maybe that you can command. So maybe that has some kind of strategy element to that. Like maybe you can manage your own tribe, recruit new guys and fight together. Or I'm actually interested, how it's gonna work, because it looks more like I don't know, reminds a bit of Icarus or, these type of kind of survival games. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Definitely. I think if you can command AI or just NPCs in general for like having them around the camp or scavenging something, that'd be really cool. I don't think a lot of survival games do this really, which is really sad because could be a really cool mechanic.
Yeah. All right. So now we have the first survival game nomination for the best story. Let's see which of the games is the best story survival games. And we have 3 top nominees in this category: Green Hell, The Forest, and The Long Dark. You guys, can you guys guess which of these, or you're pretty sure maybe about which of these has the best story?
I was gonna think Subnautica would be on this list because it was really the game that started in my opinion, the trend of having a story in a survival game.
Hmm.
Other than that, I think Green Hell Story came out, I want to say recently, but I think it's been like 2 years now. The Forest is a classic, but doesn't really have a good narrative hook besides Save Timmy. It has some story elements to it, but you really have to just look around the world. The Long Dark, however, it changed to a story-based game somewhat during development.
Hmm.
So that could be the winner, but Green Hell got a pretty solid voiced story from what I played from it.
Cool.
When that came out.
I see Dennis Boy say Forest. Okay, so let's see what the Gameoneer decided as the best story-driven survival game. And the winner is... The Forest. It looks like a lot of players really enjoy this one.
Yeah, I think the nice thing about the story in The Forest is, like I said, it isn't really spoken to you, except for a couple words maybe here and there. But it's really environmental and looking for things.
Yeah, I think the good thing about story in The Forest is that it's more... It's coming up to you as you progress, as you explore, as you... you know, find things. It does not come to you like you have to do this, this, and that, so you just, you know, could progress further and see the story. It doesn't feel linear, right? So you basically reveal more of the story by exploring certain details, certain objects, and getting new objects. So it's coming to you by exploration and surprise. So this is, I guess, one of the things that is enjoyable about the story in The Forest. Like, you know, in survival games, you don't expect like linear progression or linear story. We just have to complete one stage and then just have a cutscene, go to another stage, have a cutscene. But you want to have story come to you through many different ways as you explore the game and as you find new discoveries and things like that.
Yeah, I think The Forest really picked a good one to tell as well. Well, not really like a good story to tell, but the interesting thing about the story in The Forest, it was really set in different time periods. Because you could see stuff from like about 100 years ago, what was going on, to a more recent-ish time. And a lot you can see through either just wandering around, looking at the little notes and books you find. But later on, they also added videos that you could see through the camcorders that you can find around the map. Which was really interesting. And then, of course, the whole end game area is just one massive
story-driven
like war
experience.
dump, basically, because you found a lot of actual notes and documents in that area.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting.
All right, so The Forest it is for the Best Story Award. Let's see what's coming up next. And we have another survival game reveal. Let's check it out.
For you, the year is 1889. The world as you know it teeters on the brink. The magical network of portals has collapsed. Your people are cast asunder beyond the frontiers of your reality. Realms alive with monstrous beasts, eldritch creatures and dangers of which you cannot conceive. You must gather your wits, craft whatsoever you require, and build a life in the realms. Uncover the secrets of realm cards and venture deeper into the unknown. path forward is winding and full of terrors. Save yourself. Survive the realms. And rebuild all that has been lost.
And that is Nightingale. Probably one of the more anticipated survival games.
Yeah, definitely. This was the game to rival Son of the Forest, to be honest.
Yeah. So this is the latest actually trailer from Nightingale, and it reveals quite a details about the game, like flying with an umbrella and exploring these kind of ancient crypts and caves. It looks kind of interesting, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
You see the magic also, it looks like you can imbue your weapons with some magical spells and just splash enemies with a Thor hammer of justice. Yeah.
Definitely. I think Nightingale will bring a lot of new things to the genre as well. Especially looking at the realms, right? Realms are going to be very interesting, and that's like the main focus and the main hook of this game. You can find and craft different realm cards. You can basically create your own world. And it doesn't really matter what you choose. You can pretty much combine anything you want.
Yeah. Realm cards is going to be a really interesting mechanic in the game when you can just adjust your world setting based on the cards that you pull. Yeah. And I think it's going to add some more playability and kind of surprise element to the biome. As far as I know, you can choose in the realm you want to live. Maybe you want to live in some peaceful realm, build your base, and go for an adventure to some dangerous ones. I'm probably gonna go to the most dangerous one just to build my base, just to have it cracked.
I mean, looking at these monsters, right? Some were literal giants. I'm not sure if it's a smart idea to make your base around those guys.
Yeah. I'm really excited about, base defense elements in the game. Really interesting to see how it goes, because it's just one of the most anticipated games I have in mind.
They do emphasize that you can create defensive structures.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing as well is you can build pretty much anywhere. In a lot of survival games, when you go down a dungeon or a cave, it disables building there. It also sounds like you can build anywhere you want here, even in those dungeons. So you can basically set up your defenses as you go along.
Yeah.
So, for example, right before a large room with a large amount of enemies, you just build out an entire defense in the other room and then just lure them all towards you, which will open up a lot of different gameplay elements.
Yeah, I guess we'll be able to be core keepers in Nightingale, like spending time in caves and just building cave bases. Cool. Let's time for another nomination. And this time we have the best combat. And for this nomination, top nominees are Valheim, We Rising, State of Decay 2. So which of these do you think is the best for the best combat?
Difficult one. I think State of Decay will immediately fall off. That was a very basic combat system, from what I remember. Valheim was also not really too in depth. I think V Rising, in my opinion, has the best combat system because you could customize a lot of your abilities, and there were a lot of different magic schools you could pick from and mix and match. So I think that is the winner for this category.
All right. What about you guys in the chat? You have your best combat survival game? I think like State of Decay is just, it's assuming that it has basic combat. The combat is, I think, is kind of good for a shooter kind of game because it's more about shooting and melee. It has some melee combat, but mainly about shooting. It's got a decent combat. It's not the best, not the worst.
but it isn't really revolutionary or customizable.
Yeah.
Also, the game wasn't that good.
I really enjoyed it. Right.
I played it. I pre-ordered this one, and I played it the minute it came out. I completed it the same night. I stayed up all night to basically finish it.
Yeah.
I found it was so short, and it really focused on the infestations a lot more than anything else. And that was basically the game. It's like, here's the setup for a story. Go slay every monster in town, complete all the infected houses, and they're like, all right, I did it. What now? And they're like, all right, the game's ended.
Yeah, I think the game has improved significantly over the years. It added more content, added more little zones, corruption zones, and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I think that the new difficulty is a great thing that the developers added to the game. It makes clearing the world map a lot more complicated. And personally, State of Decay is one of my best zombie survival games. It's not a survival craft game, but more like survival action game. I would say it goes after...
Yeah, I think the first one was better, though, from what I played. But if you say that they updated the second one a lot,
yeah,
I might give it another shot and see if I like it more.
Yeah, I think... But what I really enjoyed about State of Decay 2 is that it has this challenging experience. It's more like... It has this kind of resemblance to Project Zomboid with more action-oriented kind of gameplay and better combat. It doesn't have in-depth like survival mechanics, but it has the challenge, which I would say deserve Project Zomboid's name. Especially if you play in the hardest difficulty, you can totally get wrecked. And yeah, it's great when in terms of challenge, when you just... And I really also like about the game, it's not just another, zombie shooter game where you just run around and kill every zombie. But it's the game where you have to, be sneaky, crouch like in Project Zomboid, where you don't have to make a lot of noise. And I think this is what makes this game good, because it's not just about shooting zombies. At least for a long time, you won't be doing that. You'll be more sneaking and getting resources and better weapons, and you don't want to get on too many zombies yourself, or you're just gonna get killed. And another thing what I really like is that you can gather, other survivors, build your team and build your kind of camp. But then they die, it's kind of permadeath, right? So you have one survivor. If it dies, you have to go for another one. You cannot just keep on resurrecting the same one. So it's kind of adds immersion to this kind of permadeath system of your survivors.
Yeah, and it really sucks if one of the good ones dies.
Yeah, and you have to find other ones to replace them. Cool. So it's time for the best combat. And the winner for the best combat goes to We Rising.
Wow. It's almost like I predicted this.
Yeah. We Rising has a really great action combat. It might not be like the most in-depth survival game in terms of survival mechanics, but combat is what it shines.
It has some really interesting ones, though, to be sure. Like interesting survival things.
Yeah.
My main issue with V Rising is the gameplay loop. Other than that, I think it's a fantastic game. But you really only want to kind of play it for a couple hours, maybe. Because, like I said, the issue I had with it, eventually, after you cleared the first area, the next area is basically the same. Exactly the same gameplay loop. Do it again, but with different resources.
Yeah. I feel like, one of the things in terms of PvE that is limiting V Rising is that the game was developed with PvP in mind. It was basically like first created for PvP players, because developers who created the game had their previous game purely like PvP, and they kind of wanted, I guess, to create a more improved version of what they already created. So they created We Rising, but they also added a bunch of PvE on top. So this game kind of has PvE and PvP, but yet it's still more PvP focused. So if you're not into PvP much, so I guess you might find PvE experience or the gameplay loop not that engaging. For example, one of the things that I kind of find limiting about Re-Rising is that, you know, like base building locations, like you just build on these hills and certain, you know, spots, which is, I think, is great for PvP experience because you don't want, you know, you want to have these strategic locations for PvP, have these kind of upper hand. But for PvE experience, it's kind of limiting. It limits your freedom a bit. For example, I want to build maybe in the cave, or maybe I want to build certain next to some kind of point of interest, or maybe some enemy area or some mining location. But there's certain,
on the road.
Yeah, or it's on the road or anywhere. But this game makes you build in certain locations, which makes building a bit limited. But I guess it was done to balance for PvP experience. All right.
It does sound like next year we get a lot of PvE mechanics and new biomes.
Yeah.
Better building.
Yeah, I assume the developers, since they've seen the success of the game and how many players actually playing it for PvE, compared
it seems like
to
they're
PvP.
focusing that much more than PvP now, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna improve upon PvE more, and maybe PvP won't be the main focus as it was in their original vision. All right, let's go for the next giveaway. Who is excited? Whoa. Who's gonna win next? All right, and the winner is Dragon Beast 07. Congratulations, Dragon Beast. Congratulations. I hope you're here. If not, well, we're gonna pick a game for you on the first draw.
It seems like Dragon Beast might not be here.
It seems like, but I guess we have
we'll give him some time.
we have to do the job for him, right?
Yeah.
All right, and here is all right, so it's time to spin the wheel and see what game comes as a reward. Awesome! Re-Rising!
Oh,
that's a nice addition to collection.
That's quite a coincidence, I'd say, with the previous winner of Best Combat.
Yeah, what a coincidence. So, Dragon Beast, you here? Do you want to draw another one more time, or maybe twice? Or are we gonna send this awesome game to you? Okay, so it looks like Dragon Beast is kind of firm about his decision about taking Re-Rising home. So let it be.
Yeah. It's a good game, though.
Yeah. It's a really...
I mean, I own it, but I might want to own it twice.
And you can send it to your friends so you could PP them on your server. All right, so we have another nomination. Survival game nomination for the best world. This is going to be an interesting one because we have a lot of survival games with interesting worlds. Some are better, some are worse, but it's time to decide what is the best world for our community.
Would you classify a randomly generated world to be able to win this award? Or does it have to be handcrafted?
Both. I guess world is world. If it's good procedural generated, why not?
It has to be really good though if it's is a procedural generated one, I feel. Oh, fantastic. They all have it.
All right.
Come on, people. How could you do this?
Yep. So, for the best world, top nominees are No Man's Sky, Ark, Survival Evolved, and Valheim. So I think Ark is the only game that doesn't have procedural generation world, handcrafted ones.
Yeah, that has a bunch of handcrafted ones.
Yeah. Valheim has good world, but also has procedural generation twists. No Man's Sky is also improved a lot upon the years, and it provided amazing open world experience to explore different planets, and it doesn't feel like very procedural generated. Like, you know, the issue with procedural generated games is that they kind of feel samey and repetitive. Yeah. But I think that technology is improving a lot in the recent years, and the procedural generation doesn't feel very procedural, I guess.
I mean, last time I played No Man's Sky, which is like 2 years ago now, it was quite a decent time after launch, so I assume that was like after they fixed a bunch of issues and you could actually play multiplayer. No Man's Sky, in my opinion, felt very empty, and a lot of the world felt very the same with a different color scheme. Ark, I don't know, I haven't actually played a lot of Ark. The world themselves, they look pretty huge, they look pretty good. Good variety, especially with the different DLCs. Valheim, that has a lot of stuff to do in each biome. Procedural generation, I feel like, could hurt the experience a little bit in Valheim, because the game is already rather difficult, especially for a lot of people that are new to survival genres or this type of game in general. Because I heard at launch there were a lot of people that complained about the difficulty in the second biome already, because Valheim is a very biome-driven game, right?
So
the second biome, people already had issues with.
So I had to pick one of these, Duncan. Which of these would you vote for as the best world?
I think I'd have to go for Ark. From what I've seen, it looks pretty solid, and it's a handcrafted map as well. I am more leaning towards that than random procedural generation.
Do you guys agree with Duncan? Do you maybe think there's other option? Let us know in the chat. All right. The moment for the best world nominee. The award goes to Ark.
Hey.
Yeah, I think Ark is one of the games that actually has a lot of variety in the world. It does not have, like, let's say, procedural generated stuff, but what it has, a lot of different maps, a lot of maps to explore. So it doesn't feel like it has like one big world like Conan Exiles, but it has pretty large different maps, which makes the game, I guess, a wall of the experience. Like, you want to explore the desert, you go to one map. You want to explore the islands, you go to one map. You want to explore more sci-fi stuff, you go to other map. You can choose based on your taste. So it's not like it's connected. Like for example, in No Man's Sky, we can travel different planets in one kind of world, but it feels like Ark provides that experience for players who really want to explore a many different variety of maps.
Yeah, and I also think handcrafted maps are, in general, better for exploration, if you like that sort of deal. Because everything feels more unique. Every point of interest is handmade and hand-placed there, just for you to explore. With procedural generation, what I find is a lot of the time you'll see the same kind of terrain. There's a very limited amount of random structures they usually put in. And if they have different ones, it's usually made out of a few different, like, building blocks, right?
Yeah.
It looks very similar still. Oh, and handcrafted, like Ark, you could go to one place and explore a completely different one, get a different feel. And even though it might not be as interesting on the second playthrough, I do still think that it is a better experience than random generation in most cases.
Yeah. And I think Ark has a like huge modding community, players who also create their own maps, so they can add some more maps and for you to download and explore. So it kind of makes the game unique, because players are just also working to create new experiences for others, and And yeah, Ark has a lot of different maps. So and it's, the interesting thing is that every map has a certain story, you know, to tell. So if you want to like complete the whole Genesis, the whole saga, you know, you have to go through all pretty much these maps and just have different discoveries, kill all the bosses in that map, and you move like, you know, like stages. Like in Valheim, you have certain locations where you move from one other to another. But in Ark, you don't just go from like different locations or biomes, but you would go more like for different maps. You just complete, let's say, Island, the first one, and you move to Scorched Earth, if I'm not wrong. Basically, there is a kind of a sequence of maps you can complete and kill all the bosses. And if you want to feel like you finished the game, you have to do it also. It kind of makes it like objective driven if you're up for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Let's move on to another game reveal. And that is another zombie survival game.
This one looked pretty interesting though, gotta admit.
Got your interest, right? All right.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about control or having AI do things for you in a base camp.
Yeah.
And it seems like you can kind of brainwash the zombies here to help you out with that.
Yeah, like building your zombie camp to make you work for things. Like, yeah, you can fight, you know, you can make them fight. It's kind of like building your zombie minions. I wonder if you can tame that elephant, like brainwash him into being your cow.
Oh, that'd be sick. I do think he's considered the boss.
Yeah,
though.
So that would be kind of
That'd
OP.
be crazy.
Yeah, the game is promising. Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. Paradise Project.
And the next nomination is the best action. So, what survival game has the best action? Let's find out. We have top 3 nominees for this category: We Rising, Back 4 Blood, and Generation Zero. What do you think, guys? Which of these games do you think has the best action?
I think Back 4 Blood and Generation Zero are definitely like the most combat focused of the two.
Yeah.
Especially Back 4 Blood. That's like purely combat, right? Basically all action. I haven't played Generation Zero, but from what I've seen of it, it's basically a robot murder. V Rising, though, as you said before, it was very PvP focused. So this could go all different ways, to be honest.
All right. So let's see which of these games has the best action according to our Gameoneer community's vote. And the winner is We Rising. It looks like players enjoyed being vampires because I think the V Rising has a lot of good action, lots of good combat moments, but also has crafting and building and other survival craft game things. While Back...
Yeah, it's really the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it has a lot of action and it has the best of all the worlds. Back 4 Blood is purely action survival game. It has awesome action. And I probably, if I would personal vote, I would go for Back 4 Blood. Generation Zero also has action. It's also an action survival game. It does not have base building, and I think it has some base building, but it doesn't have like in-depth survival craft elements. So it's more like action kind of survival game, shooting game, more similar to Back for Blood, but more like a mix of We Rising and Back for Blood.
Yeah, more open world than Back for Blood.
Yeah, so but I think V Rising is really deserved to be a winner in both the combat and action, because as a survival craft game, it provides a lot of these
different unique weapons, upgrades. Again, back to the magic system of this game. Yeah, which is really good as well.
All right, so it's time to check out another survival game.
Get down, son!
And that was Sons of the Forest, one of the most promising upcoming survival games.
Probably rivaling Nightingale, since that got delayed. Well, I guess this one got delayed as well.
Yeah, so this game is probably gonna be great, assuming knowing some experiences of the beta players, alpha players, who got to experience the game firsthand. I guess we can expect a great game based on their experience, an improvement upon the Forest, which is great to hear, because I feel like there are certain areas that a game could really improve, and hopefully they're gonna improve a lot in these areas so we can make this experience a lot better.
Yeah, back when it came out though, it was very what was the word here? Very revolutionary, I feel, for the survival genre.
Yeah.
It brought a bunch of new, well, it wasn't really particularly new, but it like solidified what a survival game should be and strive for. However, over the years' time, a lot of things have done better. For example, Subnautica or Green Hell, for example, in my opinion, have a more fleshed out story. And then eventually The Forest got one as well after those games came out. Base building is pretty alright. It was really good for its time, especially since there was no real in-depth base building back then. Newer games such as Grounded and other games like that, have really upped the ante on that, especially with like decorative wise and different kind of building materials.
Yeah.
Combat wise, The Forest wasn't that crazy either, but it had some really unique combat situations, like you had different bombs, Molotovs, eventually guns as well. Seems like they really want to go gun heavy on this next one. with shotguns and other pistols. It seems a lot more automated weapons as well compared to like the
Yeah, I
flintlock
guess we're gonna
pistol.
see more firearms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an interesting experience and see how the game improved upon.
Definitely.
All right, so we have another nomination, the best to relax, and we have top nominees in this category. So, top nominees are Core Keeper, Among Trees, and Minecraft. So which of these games do you think is the most relaxing? When you just want to chill and relax after a hard day of work?
I think most people will probably go for Minecraft. It's the most mainstream game out of all three of these. Core Keeper's probably the more unknown game here. Because Among Trees got quite a lot of talk around the time when it got released. Or before it got released, I think. And I didn't really hear anything about it afterwards. From the recent articles, I think you know which game I like more. For me, it's going to be Core Keeper. It has a really Terraria-ish vibe. Like it could be very chaotic with the bosses, but it could be really relaxing. The music is really good to just chill to. And again, like we talked about earlier with this category for action RPG, the survival game genre is just really good to just turn your brain off, do some gathering. And I think Core Keeper is really good with that as well.
Yeah, breaking walls.
Yeah, you can neatly break walls. You could just farm a couple things. Has a really soothing soundtrack as well. So it feels really relaxing. Minecraft is kind of the same in that vein. I don't think Among Trees. I'm not 100% sure on that. Because in my opinion, from what I've seen of it, because this is the one survival game I haven't played so far, it didn't really look like you could do a lot in Among Trees. I don't know if you've played it at all.
Nope, not this one.
So I don't know, but it will probably be Minecraft.
All right, let's see. Let's see which of these is the winner. And the award goes to Minecraft.
What a surprise. The most selling game ever.
Yes, I think Minecraft is one of these kind of chill games, but it also can be quite intense if you like. You know, it has a lot of to provide with all the modding community and things like that. So it's definitely one of the games, well-known games that people just go and build and craft things.
Minecraft is really a game that anything is possible. Yeah. It literally doesn't matter what. Command blocks in the game are powerful as all hell in Redstone. People just make everything in Minecraft.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on with another giveaway. Let's see who's gonna win a next awesome game. So we have another winner to draw, and we're gonna see who's gonna win the next game. You guys ready? You still here? You ain't sleeping? Because if you do, you're gonna miss your opportunity to draw multiple times. That means you're gonna enjoy the awesome game on the first draw. All right, let's see. Let's see who is the winner. Okay, we have another winner, and that's Rachel. Congratulations, Rachel. If you're not one of the sleepers, you might be thinking what awesome game you could bring to your home. If you do, well, I guess we have to draw it for you.
If there's another Rachel in the chat, that's going to be so confusing.
Yep.
Well, you're sending it through the email that they provided,
yep.
So...
Yep, it's linked to the email,
sadly, you can't claim it if you're not Rachel.
Yep, it's linked to the email, and I know precisely what person behind the email is, behind the name is, and the person will get the reward. All right, so it's time
to the next nominee, I would assume.
And you are right, because now we have the next nomination for the best challenge. So, the top nominees in this category are Green Hell, Project Zomboid, and The Forest. So guys, which of these do you think has the best challenging experience?
This one could be really interesting. It's basically between Green Hell and Project Zomboid, in my opinion. The Forest is so easy that... Why is it on this list? Have the people ever heard of the Club? It is so powerful you can block any attack with that.
No spoilers here.
Well, you can craft it in the first 5 seconds, so...
Damn it.
It isn't that spoilery.
I didn't know that. Now I feel like you ruined my day.
I'm sorry. Project Zomboid, as well as Green Hell, they're very difficult to learn games. Project Zomboid, I feel more so than Green Hell. But they're both out to get you at any opportunity. If you let your guard down for like a second in Green Hell, you get bitten by something. There's leeches all over you. You go crazy and see ghost people, tribe men attack you. They really try to get you at every opportunity they can. The same as Project Zomboid, because the world is filled with so many zombies. And your character can pretty much get infected or get sick. There's a lot of different things you have to look out for in this game.
Yep. So I guess it's time to reveal the winner. The award for the best challenge goes to Project Zomboid. Yeah,
It definitely deserves it.
Definitely deserves that. It's one of the most challenging zombie survival experience and in general, but also I think the difficulty is not just, it's not just a hard game, but also enjoyable hard game. So you can, feel like you are this little guy in this big world trying to survive, finding scraps. And it has this kind of extensive survival kind of progression where we're not just get best weapons fast, but you have to just find little weapons and get better ones. But later on, you can become pretty powerful. But it takes a long time. Probably one of the games that offers the longest progression before you reach the end game to become strong. So that's a good thing.
Definitely. And it has permadeath as well, which is really bad with all the perks you've accumulated over the hour's time. However, the interesting thing is after you die, you can respawn as a new character, and if you go back to the same place where you died, you find your own character as a zombie, and you can loot all his your own belongings, basically.
Yeah, so one suggestions I think I was given to developers is to release a mode that would be truly permadeath mode. It's not like, you die, you just keep creating another characters, but where you get your world resetted and you have to start all over again, like, in Don't Starve Together, where you just keep on repeating in the endless loop. So in Project Zomboid, it would have one life, and developers actually said that they're planning to do that in the future, like, add an extra mode where you just have a permadeath and you want to be able to create new characters. I mean, this could be a bit complicated for co-op, multiplayer, but for example, if one player dies, he cannot play again on the same world. So it has to wait before other players get killed or something like that. But, yeah.
Or they just don't have it on multiplayer, which is probably the most likely thing will happen.
Yeah, but I guess we'll see. So the best challenge nomination for Project Zomboid is totally deserved and earned throughout the years. And what's coming up next? We have another survival game trailer reveal. that was Under a Rock, a new promising survival game. I really like the looks of it.
Yeah, it's very vibrant. Looks really good.
Yeah, it's kind of for the. I think this game is gonna be one of the nominees for the best in relaxed category. You know, for people who just want to relax, chill out, and just customize your character, build your base, decorate. Just I don't know. You know, based on the trailers, what I can tell, developers are more aiming for that kind of relaxing experience based on what I see now. I don't think the game will be very heavy on combat, or maybe the combat won't be the main focus. Maybe more something
if you
like
look at this shot, for example, it's really building focus.
Yeah, it's
which I personally like.
Yeah, I think it's might be something more like in terms of core keeper thing, like it has a lot of building and just chingling around, but it also has some combat. Maybe it has some bosses and fights. Oh, we gotta see that.
Definitely has some bigger enemies to probably deal with, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
This game kind of went under the radar, no pun intended.
Yep, definitely worth.
When it originally got revealed.
Worth having on your wish list and following it.
Yeah.
Cool. So we came to another nomination. And that nomination is the best for co-op. And the 3 top nominees in the category are Raft, Valheim, and 7 Days to Die. All right, I think this is getting pretty interesting because all of these games have a good co-op, but only one of these will be nominated for the best in this category. So, what are your thoughts on this, Duncan?
This is really difficult for ones. Usually, you know, you can pick out one of them, maybe 2 of them, that you're like, these are definitely not going to win. But these 3, they all have, I feel like, an equal share in this. Maybe I'll go for Raft and Valheim over 7 Days. Just because their like spawn-in mechanic is kind of annoying in 7 Days, so you'd have to up. I really hate that. But yeah, Valheim and Raft, very solid. I mostly play Valheim solo though, so don't have a lot of multiplayer experience with that, unlike the other 2 games. I think Raft is probably better co-op than single player. Well, Valheim in 7 Days, kinda good either way. Once you do meet up in 7 Days though, I think it is a way better experience than solo.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd really be between those 2, I guess. And
yeah,
between Raft and 7 Days.
All right, so I guess it's time to see which of these games was decided as the best game for co-op. And that game is 7 Days to Die. Quite a surprise, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's really, if you even look at this thumbnail you picked, it's really made for surviving with multiple people, right?
Yeah. I think
So I could see that.
7 Days to Die is one of these games has a lot of things to do together. And of course, other games also have that. But I feel like this game is more like a veteran in one of the kind of Project Zomboid type of veteran games, you know, that they're so long in early access and people have enjoyed it playing together for so many years that I feel like this game definitely deserves that for co-op. And I mean it, like there's so new games that may have some better co-op implementations, but I feel like this game feels more like a nostalgia for what it feels, you know, to play with friends that used to hang out together maybe 5 or 7 years ago. It just brings that experience. Helps you remember that moment. Yeah.
The game's like a decade old, just like Project Zomboid, and it's also still early access.
Yeah.
The only gripe I have with the game, because I love this game, the only gripe I have with it is they change it so often, just the base core mechanics, right? I don't understand why. And then you also have to completely reset your world, which is really annoying. Other than that, this is a very good zombie survival game.
Yeah, it's
very solid.
One of the best, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have another game reveal. Let's see what's coming up next.
Remember. Remember the rage of the sea. Remember the light in the darkness. And when the dead winter comes, remember those who never sleep.
And that is another Viking survival game. Assuming, yeah, it is Viking. It looks kind of, gives a Valheim vibe, more realistic one.
Yeah.
But it's definitely one of the games worth looking forward to. It's more like you'll be able to build your tribe and like have your guys following you and fighting and surviving together. So yeah, this is the game. There's no gameplay trailer yet, but there's some footage online. Developers playing the game, and it has recently launched beta, and it's gonna do more betas in next year.
Oh, gotta check those out when they.
I'm on the spot list.
Nice. You could give me one of those keys.
If you'll be back, good guy for Christmas, definitely you will. All right, let's move it out with another nomination, the best for PvP. Do you think it's Rust, Ark, or Scum?
These are free games that have, I feel, a lot in common. Well, Rust and Scum more so than Ark. I do think Rust and Scum are probably the more like suited for PvP, like they're very built around it. Honestly, I don't know much about Scum except for the new update.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't know much about Rust, even though I own that game. Except for beating someone with a rock, which was the big meme back in the day.
Cool. So let's see which of these games is the best Gameoneer community's PvP game. And that is Rust. That's quite as expected, because Rust is one of these kind of well-known for PvP, like it stands out, and just kind of when everyone thinks of Rust, the first thing that comes to the mind is that it's PvP focused. Ark, it has a lot of PvE. You can play totally PvE. You don't have to PvP, but it also has a interesting PvP base rating. I think probably I would say Ark is the best kind of PvP mixed PvP type of game. You know, if you want a great PvE experience, but you also want PvP, that's a great match.
Yeah.
And Scum, it's pretty new in development, probably the closest to DayZ, a great competitor to that game. And I feel like the game could really big PvP game after launch. And it's already have a growing player base. I guess we'll see.
Definitely, it does sound like an interesting game, though, Scum. From some of the new things they added.
Yeah.
But Rust is also just a classic at this point.
And now it's time for another giveaway. So let's see who's gonna become the winner in this giveaway. And the winner is Morm. Congratulations, Morm. Hope you're here with us. Or not. But I guess the game you're gonna win will be awesome for you. So let's do not hesitate and draw another game.
Again, I haven't seen Morm in the chat yet.
Yep, I haven't seen any Morms yet, so I guess
it'd be a standout name, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the name. Yeah, you would really remember. So let's see what game Mr. Morm wins. Let's pull. And the awesome game is Blastronaut. It looks like we have some Blastronaut lovers. This is, yeah.
Maybe they can play together.
Yeah, it's a nice action survival game, and I hope Morm will have a lot of fun blasting the alien planet. Yeah.
So he likes collecting minerals.
Yeah.
I don't think it had a lot of PvE content though. From what I remember, it was strictly like a lot of mining focus with a lot of different type of guns that felt very different for blowing up your surroundings. And I had a couple pretty interesting ones. Interesting to see that they managed to get that many different types of explosive weapons, to be fair.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had different biomes. The further down you went, I think the more dangerous it did get. I didn't go that far, so maybe there is more good PvE content down there. But a lot of dangers come from the biome itself that the players get to visit and blow up.
And what comes next is nomination for the best updates.
This could go all over the place, to be fair.
Yeah, I think we have some quite a good amount of early access survival game titles that have been providing us with updates to this day for many years to come. So let's find out what are the 3 top nominees in this category. So the 3 nominees are 7 Days to Die, Terraria, and Project Zomboid. Okay, this is getting interesting. Which of these 3 games do you think has the best updates, guys?
It's like a clash of titans.
Yeah, clash.
They're all decade-old survival games.
Yeah, clash of early access titans.
Oh yeah, I think the only one that's out of early access and technically complete is Terraria these days.
Yeah.
They say technically complete because I think they're on their 4th final update, but they keep adding more. And then be like, this is the final update, guys. And then 2 weeks later, it's like, we got this other big update coming.
Yeah. It's never-ending cycle of goodbyes.
Yeah. They really enjoy working on the game, which is good to see, though.
Yeah, a lot of love poured into the game. And I think like 7 Days to Die, Project Zomboid also has some good constant yearly updates. There might not be like, they kind of drop it like once a year. Like I haven't seen,
they don't
haven't seen a lot.
Drop it.
I haven't seen a lot from 7 Days to Die this year. Last year was a big overhaul update, but this year's kind of, I don't know, not much. More like,
yeah, they definitely keep a lot of progress until they release a lot at once.
Yeah. Like they're kind of spend 1 year releasing update, next year fixing bugs, and then releasing new one. So, but Project Zomboid has revealed some interesting future plans for sewers and some underground, locations, which are quite interesting to know.
Yeah, that does sound really good.
So, let's pick the best game that has ongoing updates. And that is Terraria. Oh, that's the game I think that deserved this nomination a lot.
I think it's definitely the game most people played out of all three of these.
Yeah, it's the game that keeps on giving, even after it says it once. So,
I mean, it's also really hard to compete with this, right? Because they add so many new things each update. Like, a lot of the updates were just, here's another 1,000 items you can craft. And it's like, all right, calm down. Do these guys ever get a break? It's really crazy what they added in their 10 years.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what's coming up in Terraria 2.
No, that game was cancelled, sadly.
Was cancelled?
Yeah, Other Worlds is cancelled. Presumably they're working again on Terraria now.
Oh, that's disappointing. I thought Terraria 2 is coming up maybe in a year or two.
No, they cancelled it a while back. I don't remember the reason. But it's probably due to Starbound, to be fair. Because that was basically, it looked like what Terraria 2 was gonna be. But yeah, it's really sad. Because it looked like it's just more souped up version of Terraria. But I think also a lot of the features that they were gonna add in Terraria Other Worlds has been implemented in Terraria itself.
Yeah.
At this point.
All right, so we have another survival game reveal. Let's see what's coming up next. What are your thoughts on Renown?
It doesn't really strike me as a survival game in the most typical sense.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of makes me think of Reign of Kings, more so than a survival game. So, but it could be interesting to see what will happen, right? Because is this a PvE or PvP focused online game, or can you also play this solo?
It's more a
and with friends?
PvP focused.
Yeah, that is what it looked like quite a bit.
Yeah, so the game has a heavy focus on PvP, has some PvE, which are pretty much built for fighting other players. So that's what it is.
Gonna be good for a lot of people that like games like Rust or Scum, I would imagine.
Yeah.
If it is like a good PvP focused, where you can still... I mean, this looks really cool, right? Having those big medieval battles, conquering castles from other players, other factions even. In reality, I'm gonna wonder how many times you're actually gonna do a battle like this, or just raid an entire castle with a group and they're not gonna be online. So that would be quite interesting to see how that will turn out.
All right, let's take a look at another upcoming survival game. And that is another well-known post-apocalyptic survival game, Stalker 2. Who's excited about this upcoming game?
No one? All right. The trailer didn't really show much, to be fair. I never played the first Stalker game, so don't really have opinions either way. It just wasn't really on the radar. So, who knows?
Yeah, I guess we're gonna see, because Stalker games have their own audience and they're good games. Like, they're action survival games, not much into crafting, base building, and things like that. But if you want to explore post-apocalyptic world, more shooting action, that's definitely worth checking out.
Seems like people in the chat are excited about it, or interested by it, at the very least.
And I'm sure it's gonna bring up some interesting upgrades to the previous games in the series. I guess we have to find out next year. All right, let's see what is the best game, the best survival game. And this is coming to the point where we just like going through all the year and seeing all these awesome survival games releasing. And I think there are a lot of good survival games. What are your favorite ones, Duncan, for example?
My favorite ones, I think I really enjoy The Forest. For how little it has, it's a really neat game to just pick up, play. I really like the building mechanic in that. And other games like that. Currently very into Core Keeper, like I said. But also, the classic like Minecraft. I enjoy Terraria quite a bit. The games I played a lot back in the day. Raft is one of those that I've been with since the very, very beginning, before it was released on Steam even. So that is a game I was very sad to see go this year. It got its biggest and final release, but it sadly does seem like it is the actual final update for Raft, which is really sad. Because how it came out of nowhere as a school project, it is also gone out of nowhere.
All right, so let's see what are the nominees for the top survival games. And the games are Minecraft, Ark, Survival Evolved, and Grounded. These are the top Gameoneer community's survival games, and only one of these is the winner. So, the award goes to Minecraft.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah, Minecraft is kind of one of these big survival games. It's kind of more mainstreamish game, I guess, for everyone's taste. It might not have the best in-depth combat mechanics, but I think with modding, a lot of possibilities is what makes this game interesting for everyone, from small to big ones, from parents to children.
Yeah. And to be fair though, Minecraft is like the grandfather of survival games.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure if it wasn't for Minecraft, survival games wouldn't be as big as they are today. Because you barely had survival games before Minecraft. You might have had them, but it was very unknown until Minecraft came around and kind of blew up.
Yeah.
And that's when you really started to see more games like, well, eventually Ark, and big companies starting to take notice like Microsoft, and eventually they created Grounded.
That's true. Cool. Let's see what's coming up next. And now we have the Best Game of the Year nomination. And the top 3 nominees are Core Keeper, We Rising, and Frozen Flame. All right, the three top best survival games this year in front of us. So which of these guys do you think is the winner?
I'll personally lean more towards the Core Keeper and V-Rising. I don't know about you, but Frozen Flame never really caught on with me. I played it a little bit. We played during the beta, then I played it a bit after. It doesn't feel like a survival game, really. It really feels like it's an RPG game.
With survival elements.
With some, with like crafting elements and maybe cooking and some building. But the building of that, it did get better from the beta. 'Cause, you remember how kind of annoying it was to build. It seems like they really made it a lot easier, and they, from what I played, they kind of got rid of that thing you had to build. Although that might just be because I played solo and not co-op or multiplayer.
All right, so let's see what Gameoneer community says as the best game of the year, and that is V-Rising. Definitely deserved
Not that
title.
big of a surprise.
Yep. Definitely, we don't have a lot of survival games this year. Not a big competition, and V-Rising was the game that stood out from the crowd. It's a great experience, base building, exploration. It might not have the most in-depth survival mechanics, but it's a great game overall for players who enjoy crafting and building and just hanging out with your friends or PvP.
The music, art, and gaming as V-Rising seems like a Diablo styled with vampiric twist. Is that true? I think that's a better one for you to compare because I haven't played a lot of Diablo.
Well, it's not really, I would say, as a Diablo. Diablo is more hack and slash action RPG. It is similar in terms of isometric camera and things like that, but it's slower, a lot slower. You don't in Diablo just go through the waves of enemies and just smash everything around you, like in the other hack and slash games. But in this game, it has these elements, but it's a lot more methodical and slow. So yeah, I think it's more like isometric, like any other isometric survival game, where you spend pretty much time grinding for resources and building and crafting things. And combat, requires preparation. You have to build better items, craft better items, and before you engage with stronger enemies. While in Diablo games, you just get items on the go and just crush everything, and you progress that way. While in V-Rising, it takes more grinding for resources to equip yourself. All right, so let's see what's coming up next. Let's see what other game we gonna nominate as the most anticipated Gameoneer Communities game. And the top options are Nightingale, Ark 2, and Sons of the Forest. So these are, I would say, the giants of survival games that are coming up next year. And these are probably the three biggest games that we can expect next year in survival genre. So only one of these games deserves the award. And do you have any game in mind?
Well, I think it's really going to be between Nightingale and Sons of the Forest. There hasn't been much information about Ark 2. But Ark 2 does have, Vin Diesel, which is a big selling point. But also comes off the back of Ark, which is a very popular one. Similar to the Forest, it comes Sons of the Forest, comes off the back of the Forest, which is a very beloved survival game. Nightingale just kind of comes out of nowhere here, and kind of taking the top charts. So it wouldn't even surprise me if that one will win.
All right, so I guess it's time to find out which is the most anticipated Gameoneer Communities game. The award goes to Sons of the Forest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Again, it comes off the back of a very beloved game, so it makes sense. I'm looking forward to this game quite a lot as well.
Yeah. I feel like The Forest has a big audience, and the big advantage over the Nightingale is that it already proved, the developers proved that they can create an interesting survival experience. Nightingale is a new game. It does not have a lot to show in history what other games created. While Sons of the Forest is one of the biggest survival games already, so a lot of people expect that it's gonna be the next best survival game. However, we look at Ark too, that as another big contender, because probably Ark Survival Evolved is the most played game that we see players having. Like it's always in the top charts, most played. Over 50,000 people are constantly playing it. And I feel like this game also deserves a mention, because if they're gonna improve upon the Ark experience that we already have, it could be, well, the big game of the next year.
Yeah, although I don't think we've seen any gameplay yet of Ark 2, have we? We did?
No, not yet. We just seen some cinematics.
So I was gonna say, I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, we can assume only that it's gonna be better than the previous one. But as long as we don't see gameplay, we cannot make that assumption. Maybe it will be a lot different. Like,
it seems to be
Souls-like combat. Pretty much I really wanted to play a survival game with Souls-like combat. Like, I wish someone created a game like Dark Souls mixed with survival elements, where just grab, build, but you also have this combat with this challenge as an Elden Ring or things like that. So I feel like if Ark is gonna provide that experience, is gonna be a big kind of game, like Elden Ring of survival games. Hopefully, that would be.
I don't think they'll go that way with combat, though.
Yeah.
It also seems like it's gonna be way more story focused, because otherwise, why put Vin Diesel at the forefront, right?
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna have a story mode, but also have sandbox mode, which we currently have in the first game. And yeah, and as far as I know, the combat is gonna be a lot melee driven, since it's a Souls-like game. There will be no first person, which is a big change for. It might be disappointed some players who enjoy the game in first person. Personally, I don't mind that, because I feel like if it helps to make a melee combat better, I don't mind playing a third person. Like, for example, Conan Exiles also is kind of interesting. Like, I like the combat. It has some interesting moves, interesting skills, and weapon abilities. But it has also bugs, so hopefully Ark will approve.
I mean, Ark isn't that much different from having bugs.
Yeah, but I feel like Conan Exile is probably the most buggiest survival game I've played in terms of quality games. Like, it's one of the biggest and most buggiest game. Ark would be the second one, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
But even then, I played, when I first played, Ark was my first game, and I thought it was quite buggy. When I just went to Conan Exiles, and turned out to be a lot buggier. Oh gosh, all these thralls are just a mess, getting stuck constantly. And the dinos in Ark aren't that actually bad compared to thralls in Conan Exiles. So I guess we'll see.
Will be interesting to see how building will turn out in Ark 2 if there's no first person.
Yep.
It really has to be built from the ground up then as well. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yep. And here comes the time for the next survival game trailer reveal. and that is sci-fi survival game that is coming up next year. Also really promising and interesting game. Has a big community of survival games. Looking forward to it. And Duncan also did a preview for this game beta, and you can check it out on Gameoneer.com. Yeah.
Seems like a very promising game, this one. They currently have a demo on their Steam page, so if this does look interesting and you want to try it out, you can for free right now. The game launches early next year, I think they said, because they delayed it, like anything else, to be honest, in the genre this year. It's all delayed to next year, sadly. But this one does seem quite interesting. Go down to the planet Earth after it's been intoxicated with a bunch of, well, toxins, I suppose. Bunch of dust clouds which prevent you to go to the Earth. And you have to find different cures for different diseases. As well as your main reason for being there, I think, was to find a cure, wasn't it? Because some of the people on your space station or other planet or wherever you came from, honestly, I don't remember, were infected, and the cure was on Earth.
So it's up to you as a scientist to discover the cure and explore the destroyed Earth. As we are coming to our top 10 games. Top 10 survival games, Gameoneer Community's best of the best. So let's see the list. It starts with number 1, Minecraft, followed by Ark Survival Evolved, Grounded, Project Zomboid, The Forest, Core Keeper, Subnautica, We Rising, Astroneer, and Don't Starve Together. So that's quite a list. We have some really good games in the top 10 Gameoneer Community's games list. So let's see what 5 most anticipated games we have. And these are the top 5 Gameoneer Community's games. So let's see how the list looks like. And these are number 1, Sons of the Forest, followed by Nightingale, Ark 2, The Lord of the Rings Return to Moria, and Forever Skies.
This could be my wish list for next year.
Yep.
These are all games I'm looking forward to myself.
Yeah. I mean, like, the Lord of the Rings is come with a surprise, you know. I feel like this could be a more big budget game, but I guess we'll see. You know, it would be...
I don't know, 'cause I don't think the studio was that big, though, that they hired for this. But definitely a lot of budget could go into it to make it as great as
because
it could be. Kind of like Grounded.
The big brand is Lord of Rings, everyone knows, and if they're gonna just push a bigger budget and make it a good game, it could be one of the biggest survival games in next year or maybe in another year. Because I feel like, you know, if the game hasn't released some tangible gameplay footage by now, it might not release next year, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's stated to release like halfway through the year, from what I remember. But yeah, they only showed a couple pictures, and that's about it. Maybe a little gameplay trailer, or not really gameplay trailers, but like some, I think they were in-engine shot, you know? But it's an interesting one to check out for sure, especially if you're interested in the Lord of the Rings. It does seem to have a lot of Easter eggs from what I've heard. And you're going down to the mines of Moria, so I mean, what's not to love about it?
Yeah, what's not to love about exploring the big mines of...
I mean, people like Core Keeper this year, right? So this is just a souped up 3D Core Keeper. Going from one mines to the other.
So it looks like we have only one game to reveal, the final game. But before that, I think it would be a good time to do the promised giveaway. You know, to engage the most active viewers who were on our stream. And it's kind of, the decision to make this giveaway was not actually planned, but I feel like people who stayed with us throughout all the time deserve something cool. So let's do it, okay, guys?
Let's go.
So guys, just say yes. Show us who's still here, who's still alive, who's still watching us, who wants to win an awesome game. All right, we have Jeffrey. Jeffrey, number 1. Who's next? Come on, guys. Who's still with us? Who wants to win an awesome game? Okay, we have Evely Fluffy. All right. Come on, guys. We know we've seen some active faces recently. We just need your confirmation.
Is it going to be a 1v1? Oh, no, there's third person.
And we have Dennis Boy.
Right, that seems to be.
Okay, that seems to be that.
It's been a lot of time, so. If you're quick, maybe you can still enter, but.
It seems to be that we are going to draw a game
between Jeffrey Zerf, Evil Luffy GC, and Dennis Boy 72. As Jeffrey would put it, let the giveaway gods be with you.
Yeah, he's really feeling like winning. You know what? So since we have 2 more active people throughout the time in the chat, we had Jeffrey, who is active, and we have Dennis Boy. I think we are going to reward both of them with an awesome game. We're going to spin that game for you. We're going to start with Jeffrey. So what I'm going to do is simply prepare a let's see how it goes. All right, so first of all, we're gonna go with Jeffrey, and we're gonna spin a game for him, and then we're gonna spin a game for Dennis Boy. All right, these two, one of the most active viewers in the chat. All right, Jeff, you ready? Can we get some noise?
He fainted because he heard he won.
He wasn't ready, but I'm sure you're going to make him ready. And when you're going to see a reward, I'm sure we're going to spin a nice little game for him. Oh, it seems music, art, and gaming showed up. I think the guy was pretty active too, right?
Yeah, he was really active as well.
All right, so I think we're going to add him to the draw. We're going to give free games. We're not going to give free spins for everyone, but we're just going to spin one game for everyone. Or maybe you could do several spins. What do you think, Duncan? Should we give them a few choices?
Choices are always better, though.
Yeah.
Especially if some people may already have a game.
Okay, let's do this. We're going to give everyone, Jeffrey, Dennis Boy, and Music Art, free spins. If they're going to respond, we're going to draw another time and another time, up to 3 times. All right, so let's do it, all right? Let's go with the first spin for Jeffrey.
What will he get?
Fargone. All right. So, Jeffrey, what is your decision? Do you want this game or do you want another spin?
Foregone is a survival game, which is currently single player only. It's gonna add co-op, and it is.
It's good.
The easiest way to say it is kind of like Poly or Dead Poly.
Yeah.
And it's also not released yet, so you could be the owner of a not released game.
Yeah, and just to let you know that the game will be sent during the release, so I have to wait a little bit if you're gonna pick that one. So, Jeffrey,
Right.
your decision.
No early games.
It's
thinking about it.
Think, Jeffrey, you want to spin or you want to keep the game? Because if you spin another game, you won't be able to go back to this one. That's a tough decision, I guess. At least we have some people who have to make that hard decision, right?
Yeah. Oh, he wants to spin it again.
Spin it again. Let's do it. Let's spin.
Can it be spun again? There we go.
Blastronaut. All right.
Ooh.
I think that game you guys previewed before, right?
Yeah, we previewed that both, so that kind of sucks.
But Jeffrey has one more spin.
Oh yeah, that's true. Unless he wants his game really bad. Wants to have it again.
Yep.
Spin, alright.
Alright, let's spin. One more final spin. Let's see.
It'd be so funny if it's Blastronauts again. Should never gamble more than you got me. Never go to a casino. It seems like you'll never win.
2 times in a row, it just never happened like that. I'm crying. I want to see the Jeffrey's face.
Same. It's gonna be priceless. I didn't jinx anything, mate. You were the one that wanted to fucking spin.
All right, Blastronaut it is. All right, let's just write it down. Jeffrey Blastronaut win. Awesome. All right, so we have another active viewer who's gonna spin another game. All right, so it's time for Dennis. Yes, Dennis boy, you ready?
Still can't believe it's Blastronauts again.
Oh gosh, that was the funniest moment.
It seems like Dennis boy is ready.
Yep, ready to spin Blastronaut. Let's go.
How many of those keys do you have? This feels like we've been giving away Blastronauts quite a bit.
Okay.
Oh,
that's something
That's a
new.
good one.
So, Dennis boy, did you just say spin it, or that was before that?
I think that was before.
So I'm just gonna spin it. All right, Dennis, that's your choice. Make wisely.
Do you want to keep Lot Venture, Dennis, or do you want to spin again?
Yep, spin again.
Lot Venture is a top-down survival game.
Yeah, you can play it alone with friends. Of course, you have to buy a game. Unless you...
And I mean, if you don't want it, I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah.
I mean, Lot Venture did seem like a game I'd be interested in as well. And he wants it.
Great. I think we persuaded him. You did, of course, but yeah. All right, so I'm just gonna type Dennis boy.
They should hire me for sales pitches.
Yeah, I think he's gonna enjoy the game because it's a new game, just recently released, and
yeah, it seems like a quite interesting game.
If you're,
like I said, during this stream, I added that game to my wish list.
Yep. And by the way, guys, if you can, it would be great if you could just send your email, all right? Maybe send an email or just DM on Twitch, Gameoneer, with your email address, so I'll know where to send the reward. All right? All right, so we have the final draw for music, art, and gaming.
Will he get blessed or not?
Or will he get another awesome game? Awesome. Looks like Lodventure lovers we have here. So music, art, and gaming. Do you want to pick Lodventure or do you want to spin for another game?
Spin again. He's trying to get blessed or not.
All right, let's spin again. Remains. Okay, that's pretty nice.
Oh. Spacecraft.
Do you want to go for Remains or do you want to spin one more final time? All right.
Feeling lucky.
Feeling
Going
lucky.
for the big prize.
For the big prize. Let's see. Let's see what's the big game. And that is Blastronaut.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It's the Jeffrey's curse, mate.
Yep.
Welcome to the club.
All right. So if you can, guys, just DM me on Twitch with your email address, and I will just send you a key.
It seems like Dan has already put his in the chat. I'm not sure how wise that is, to be honest, but
yeah, pretty much I'm gonna miss that, but it would be good if Dennis, you could just DM, send a personal message, so I could just have you on the list. I'm just gonna write it down.
yeah, that did it again.
All right, so I just have to write it down right now because I feel like it's the only option to get his email. Cool. Art and Gaming. All right, he's probably gonna send to us, but I'm just gonna write it down again. Dennis.
Thanks, Evil Luffy. See ya as well. The next year probably for this Gameoneer Awards 2023.
Yep.
Or the survival section will probably be even longer.
All right, so have got right, and now it is the time. It is time for the final game trailer reveal. All right then, so let's watch the trailer.
Soldier, keep on marching on. Head down till the work is done. Waiting on that morning sun. Soldier,
Sammy? Sammy? Sam, I'm here. Please.
Told you keep on marching on.
And that was Aftermath, the upcoming action survival game. Looks pretty nice. What are your thoughts, Duncan?
Well, I'm not too sure about this one actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be a story-driven survival game. It's the survival elements will be like dealing with all kind of psychic things in your mind and scavenging for resources. Very story-driven. So yeah, for players who want action and want story and want some survival elements without just having to build bases and...
But that's the most fun part.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the style, right, of players. Some players just want to have more, I guess, survival elements or focus only on survival. Other players want more action with some survival. For example, let's say V Rising is one of the great examples of action with survival elements. Even Frozen Flame, you know, it doesn't feel like survival game, feels like action RPG with some elements. But we haven't seen a lot of like quality story-driven survival action games. Like, you know, the games there you would have to survive, but they also had story, maybe more linear, I guess, story. But I guess we'll see. I'm actually wondering how this game is gonna work. If it's gonna be more like open world game where you can just go where you want or just go through certain areas and just have to survive there.
It really seemed like it's a like stage-based-ish survival game. Like you have to go from point A to point B. Especially as you see here, there's like a lot of fire and stuff. I feel like it's going to be very guided.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have a lot of linear, at least kind of survival games. Most of survival games are sandbox, but I guess we're gonna see how this game gonna show up and what new footage we can expect from it. All right, so that was the final game, Aftermath. And now we have to say thanks for watching, everyone. It was a lot of fun, great nominations, giveaways, news. I hope you enjoyed Gameoneer Live, Gameoneer Awards 2023. And once again, thanks for joining us, thanks for voting, and thanks for being. Because next year we have a lot more news, more discoveries, more giveaways, and a lot of games to play. Because next year, I think, is going to be the biggest year for survival games we've seen lately. So,
definitely will be.
Thanks. That was Bloodsmith and GDP Duncan.
Thanks for watching.
And see you next time.
See you guys.